Hey guys, welcome back. It's Sports with Mono and Mono. It's November 6th, 2021. And as always, I'm here with my partner, Steve.
Good morning, everybody. And it is football weather outside. The chill in the air is
Couldn't get any better for football.
perfect. I love playing in this weather. Mid-40s, chill in the air, sweating. You don't feel it when you're on the field.
Exactly.
Exactly. Unless you're on the sideline, standing there with your hands in your pocket.
Your cape on.
You're freezing to death. Never had that problem.
Those were the days. Those were the days. But welcome back, everybody. It's great to have you listening to the show. And like I said, it's November already, right? Christmas right around the corner, and there's a lot of sports to talk about.
You bet.
So I think I have the monologue this week.
No, you don't think. You do.
Okay. And it's kind of a situation which drives me crazy, this OBJ situation with the Cleveland Browns. And I kept reflecting on it, saying, this guy had so much potential, so much going for him. He's making a fortune, and yet he just doesn't live up to the expectations. And again, so now he's forcing his team to let him go so he can get another mega deal. But I really like this guy, but when the Giants traded him, I said they traded him for a reason, because he's a malcontent, and he just doesn't want to achieve the greatness of somebody like a Larry Fitzgerald, who came into this league and he's going to the Hall of Fame. The guy has the talent. I just don't understand why these guys can't take advantage of the opportunities. Like an Aaron Donald, who shows up and plays football every week, and he's going to the Hall of Fame. I try to find some parallels to like this OBJ, where you have the talent, but you just don't put it out there on the field. And I was like a Jonas Cespedes, right? The guy could have been a great ball player, but he just, for one reason or another, just doesn't live up to expectations. But somebody like Terrell Owens, he was another guy who was great talent, probably Hall of Fame worthy, but not somebody you want on the team. So the Cleveland Browns are wiping their hands of this guy, and like I said, he could have been one of the great ones, and he just doesn't want to put the time in, I guess. I don't know what else to say. That's the monologue for this week, Jim.
Well,
What do you think?
Well, I'm glad you brought up OBJ, because he's front and center in the news, and he's 29 years old. And I read a good piece yesterday about his relationship with Baker Mayfield. Not, on and off the field, these guys, quarterback, wide receiver, trying to make a go of it.
Yeah.
OBJ's father sends this thing.
That's what's ludicrous about it.
Right,
all,
right. But the point is, Mayfield and him did not connect on the football field. And I looked at a ton of stats here where it just didn't jive. Didn't jive.
But Jarvis Landry is Baker Mayfield's guy.
My point is, Mayfield is more successful with him out. Get him out.
Yep.
Right? Malcontent, yes. Right? There are many plays where OBJ didn't run the right route or broke it off or this, that, or the other thing. It just didn't work.
Yep.
Is he super talented? Yes. But he is a malcontent. And where's he going to land? I'm not going to be surprised if he winds up in New England. I'm just not, because Belichick has shown that.
Yeah, he could revive careers. The Randy Moss would be a perfect example.
And he's going to have a meeting with them, and he's going to go, okay, if you do the dog urine thing in the end zone, you're out.
But he blew his chance to be great and go to the Hall of Fame and put up those numbers. And I reference Larry Fitzgerald because that's the kind of guy that you want to say, wow, this guy gave it all. He showed up every week for 13 years, and he's going to Canton, and OBJ's, you're right, you said he's 29, so he's running out of runway
To
here.
be fair to Odell Beckham Jr., I hate the OBJ reference. I get it. But part of this article was he does ingratiate himself into the locker room. He does try to be a team guy.
I'm not sure about that.
No, listen, I was a little surprised by it. Okay, but I have to be objective here, and I'll give him credit, right? But the ego gets in the way, and at the end of the day,
That was my point.
again,
Yep.
we've said this 1,000 times. If we own a team, we're the general managers. We want character guys. That's what you win with, okay? Yeah. Can you have a malcontent that is so talented? Yes, and live with it. Yes, but
He hasn't lived up to that billing.
out you go.
Yep.
Out you go. He's not like a character guy I want in my locker room.
Me either. So listen, our monologue was sponsored by Coriano Trucking of Summerhill, New York. And again, week after week, they support the show, and we thank them very much.
Yep.
So let's start with Major League Baseball because we got a World Series champion, Steve. The Atlanta Braves beat the Houston Astros.
Couldn't be happier.
And we talked about it. I know you got this, this thing you just can't shake with the Astros. And
The Dusty Baker factor, did I not mention that?
right. Listen, for all those reasons, we would hoping Dusty would get one, and he didn't get it. But he'll be back again. They signed him again. So
Of course. Listen, and again, my point is I'm a huge Dusty Baker fan. Dusty Baker's a World Series champion with the Dodgers,
Yes, he
81
is.
and all that,
Yep.
But as a manager, what have you. But I couldn't be... I mentioned, 2 weeks ago, I said I used to hate the Atlanta Braves, blah, blah, blah.
don't
This
know
group
why.
of kids, though, Danby Swanson,
I know you're a big fan.
Freddie Freeman,
Gotta love him, man. But it was great. They
Duvall, and on, the young
and they
pitchers,
did this without their best player, and
and the manager.
gotta love the Brian Snicker thing.
It's awesome.
Gotta love
He's
it.
68 years old, okay? You know how many acres of land he owns in New Mexico?
I do not.
1.5 million acres.
That's a lot of acres.
And you know what he does? He gets on his horse, just drive it, right?
Great story.
World Series champion.
Yeah.
Awesome story.
And hard to believe with all these years with the Atlanta Braves, with the Maddox, the Glavine, the Smoltz, that they only, won one World Series
totally,
then, and
right.
first one since 1995.
Right. I mean, when I think of that team, yeah, they only won one. I remember the Girardi triple in '96, at the stadium. That was the death, nail, right, for the Yankees winning that. Jack Morris, the brilliant performance.
Yep.
At the Metrodome, they lost that. Super talented, but great. I hate Houston.
I know
hate
you
him.
do.
I hate him.
And I just thought, listen, I said from the start of the onset of the Major League Baseball playoffs, just keep an eye, don't dismiss the Atlanta Braves, but I thought the Houston Astros had so much hitting that they couldn't be beat.
Yeah, but again, the Braves story is so great because
It's awesome.
Soraka, their best pitcher, goes down in April. Ronald Acuna Jr. goes down in May.
Yep.
Right? The GM makes a couple moves here and there.
Yep.
Right? And the Braves were just stuck in mediocrity until June,
Yep.
early July.
Yep.
And then boom, man.
When the Phillies and the Mets went south, so they only won the division with 88
Well, it
wins
helps
or
that
something.
that division sucks, but
Right.
they get full credit. And, Freddie Freeman's going to be a free agent, is a free agent.
He's going to stay in Atlanta. He can go down as one of those stay with those guys.
Understand, but he's a free agent, that
Yep.
type of thing. And back to Houston, I won't be surprised if the Yankees offer Carlos Correa, $300 million to be the shortstop. It's either him.
I think it'll be Corey Seager. Actually, I think that's what I think.
I would prefer the left-handed bat, Corey Seager, but I won't be surprised if it's Correa, who is like a Manny Machado type of thing about 3 years ago when he did the free agency thing.
Yep. But that's a great story,
Oh,
and again,
it was great.
it feels so much better because the year before with a 50 to 60 game season, asterisk whatever.
And again, I'm a big Danby Swanson fan. I mentioned he was the number 1 overall pick in the major league.
Dansby,
Right.
actually.
I'll call him what I want to call him. But he was the number 1 overall pick.
Yep.
And like I said on the show, he's not Babe Ruth, he's not Lou Gehrig, but he's a character guy. We just talked about OBJ. Yep. You wanted Dansby Swanson
No
in
doubt.
the locker room.
And a
man.
Freddie Freeman.
And it was great. After they won, he was with his girlfriend. His girlfriend is on the U.S. women's national team, Mallory Pugh. Make a great couple.
I did not know that. Johnny Curzon.
It was just really, it was
great story, though.
Totally. And we need that in sports.
Absolutely.
We need those feel-good stories.
No question.
And congratulations to the Braves.
Yep. So before we move off Major League Baseball after a great season, your guy, Buster Posey, announced his retirement.
That is correct.
And I know your feelings on him, and my feelings aren't that far off. But, when you said first ballot Hall of Famer, I said no. But he had a great career, class act, and got three rings, right?
Yeah. And the thing is, it's ironic because this week my buddy Frankie, who I work with, is my colleague, huge sports fan. He did the same thing you said on the show. Posey's numbers are pretty similar to Thurman Munson. And I am the biggest Thurman Munson fan. Hold on, I'm going to turn my head.
We are the biggest
Hello, Thurman, because I'm looking at my Thurman picture right now. Yep. And I have my Thurman jersey hanging, right? Couldn't be a bigger fan of Thurman Munson. The point is I'm trying to make is the eras. So Buster Posey, to me, is kind of the last of the Mohicans.
302 lifetime batting average.
3-time World Series, and on and on. Is he going to be a first ballot? I may have overstepped my bounds on that.
Well, they're letting more catchers in when they let Ted Simmons
but
in.
he will be elected within 2 or 3 votes. Right?
After his eligibility.
So 5 years and then within 10 years, you can. I bet the farm Buster Posey is going to be in the Hall of Fame, and he deserves it.
Right.
And listen, he's a class act,
big time,
and it's a big loss for the Giants.
And we love on this show when we have class act guys that just play the game for the love of the game. Yeah. It's great.
Yeah. So Buster Posey, congratulations, great career,
great career. But here, how about this? One last point. Your guy, and I know he's more your guy than my guy, Brett Gardner.
Gardy?
And I looked up his numbers.
Okay.
Lifetime batting average, what do you think?
Lifetime batting average, I would venture Gardner 265.
He wishes. 256.
All right, I'm not that far off.
I'm not saying he wasn't a good player. He was a good player.
He was
for the Yankees.
265 until the past 3 years.
No, he's been pretty consistent over time. But he's the one guy that when you watch the Yankees play, I've never seen anybody in Major League Baseball over the past 15 years go to 3-2 counts than him. Right? He fouls 5 balls off everything. He was a good player for the Yankees. Only team he's ever played for, but he may actually be back. They actually may sign him.
They may, but I also made the point this week to somebody else. I said,
"Be careful here."
Out in left field in Yankee Stadium,
don't say
there's a bunch of numbers out there. It doesn't mean retired. It doesn't mean number 3, number 4, number 2.
Can never be worn again. I know.
Okay, but they put guys out there, and I'm telling you. Gardner's number 11. It's not going to be retired, but I'm telling you, it's going to happen.
Not in Monument Park.
Yes,
no, it's not.
Yes, they're going to have Brett Gardner Day. Yes, they are.
Then they have to have Andy Stankiewicz Day.
No doubt. Jim Mason Day.
Anyway, but
Eddie Lee Whitson Day.
Yeah, but Eddie Lee Whitson, that free agent contract he signed, he just couldn't handle New York. It was great. But listen, I liked him. He was a tough, durable, spunky guy, but, not Monument Park worthy. That's all my point.
I'm just saying. Right. Don't be surprised.
All right. Let's move on to the National Football League.
What's going on there?
Well, a couple of things. We watched the Jets play the other night. We thought Mike White was going to be the next, Hall of Famer. He had a good game, but he got injured. But as you and I were talking when we were watching the game, Mike White does have his helmet and jersey in Canton, Ohio, right?
Yes, it does.
For what reason?
I think it was the greatest debut of a quarterback.
Yeah.
Whatever, that type of thing. But I got to tell you what, on that first drive, he's seeing the field. The best thing I can describe, right, is he's seeing the field. As an ex-quarterback,
I guess you have to be an ex-quarterback to understand what that even
just
means.
From my perspective, if that first receiver's not open, I'm watching White second, third read. The touchdown he threw, the guy was wide open, but the point is he's seeing the field. Zach Wilson is struggling to see the field.
Which rookie quarterbacks do struggle.
And I'm not sitting here, Mike White is the next, Roger Staubach. I'm not saying that.
I know. I understand.
But the kid went 37 for 45 last week for 400 yards.
Yep, I know. Yep.
And then, against the Colts Thursday night, drove him right down the field, right? And then he gets hurt, right? My point is, he had this wave, I think, I wouldn't have been surprised if he threw for 400 yards Thursday night. But he'll be back on Sunday. And the Jets,
And this ensures that people, he will always have a job as a quarterback in the National Football League for the next 10 years because he has that potential.
Which is great.
The Case Keenum kind of thing,
I couldn't be happier for the kid.
Me too.
The Cowboys drafted him in the 5th round 3 years ago.
Yep.
He's been cut 1,000 times.
Exactly.
Okay? And that's what it's all about, is keep coming back, and he got his opportunity.
But in the same stadium, the Giants, again, they just can't win these close games, and it drives me crazy. But I got to say, and I think you got to recognize that if you're giving Mike White props, you got to give Daniel Jones. He's starting to develop into they just don't have a lot around him, but they can't win these
They don't have a lot around them. They don't have Saquon Barkley.
Who's
they don't have Evan Ingram, a first-round pick. They don't have Sterling Shepard. They don't have Darius Slayton.
Ingram's
they didn't
playing.
just sign Kenny Galladay. Don't tell me he doesn't have weapons. No, granted.
None of them are playing.
I get it. They have Kadarius Toney.
Or as Mr. Walsh would say, Nadarius Phony.
Oh, my God.
Anyway.
Now, which leads me on the NFL here to the big story of the week.
Yeah, this is just our, hometown.
It's the Henry Ruggs story, okay? I mean, this is...
It's heartbreaking, actually.
You know what? I was trying to sympathize with Henry Ruggs.
In what way? I don't even. In what way?
Meaning, he's completely drunk, so your decision-making process, right,
is out the window.
Right? But then when I heard 156 miles an hour at 3:30 in the morning, I got no sympathy for you, dude.
Right, it's insanity.
I'm sorry. And the other thing about this, too, is time and time again, the NFL has a policy in place. Wherever there's an NFL team, pick up the phone, and somebody will pick you up in a Cadillac Escalade and drive you home.
Take you from point A to point B.
The woman that she's from Serbia. And
Tina Tintor.
Yes, I'm glad we mentioned her name. Her dog, and 24, I think, and her life was, America and all that.
All ahead.
Oh, God, how tragic. And Henry Ruggs, man, I'm sorry. I got no sympathy for you.
Yep.
He's going to do every bit of 10 years. Every bit of it.
Oh, my God. He deserves every bit of 10 years.
He most certainly
You're
does.
right. That's a tragic consequence of again, you're this superstar and you gotta show off and do this, and his career's over.
156 miles an hour at 3:30 in the morning. I'm sorry, dude.
Yep.
I have no sympathy for you anymore.
You share a cell with Ray Caruth or somebody, right?
That's fine.
Right? But anyway, there was an interesting thing. I was a little surprised. I saw the Denver Broncos traded Von Miller.
Not surprised.
Really?
Yeah, he's in the last year of his deal.
Okay, but what? They're throwing the season away by getting rid of one of the best defensive players in the league? It was a little surprising.
Yeah, they got something back. It's not much, but they got something instead of what? He plays another 8 games and he's walking out the door anyway.
I know. I was just saying, he was.
He's not Von Miller from Super Bowl Von Miller.
I guess.
But
I guess this thing-
for the next 10 games, I'll do that deal. But
guess.
the other thing about the Rams is, I don't even know what assets they have anymore. When you talk about a team that's all in,
they have to win this now.
Oh, they have to win this now because they don't have any assets.
Yep.
None.
I know.
None.
They traded everything away, but that's to win now. That's the
I'm
whole
not
theory.
knocking them. I'm saying you better win now. But that's McVay going up to Snead, Les Snead, the GM of the Rams, and going, I want Von Miller. And you know what?
We'll get him.
We'll get him.
Then we'll get him.
And you better win.
Yeah. But, a couple other things, we saw Derrick Henry is out for the season, and that's, you know what? I was thinking about Derrick Henry. It took him a couple of years to, kind of, for some reason, right? Heisman Trophy winner, right? Heisman
Are you
Trophy?
talking to the biggest Derrick Henry fan from Alabama?
I know.
Right?
But that puts, but the thing I'm bringing up, when you lose somebody like that, you sign Adrian Peterson. You can't get these other kids that are younger, like the Colts. This kid Gore, the other night. I mean,
Jonathan
Adrian.
Taylor.
How much time does Adrian Peterson have? This is going to save the season for the Tennessee Titans.
It's not going to save the season. What it means is the Titans now, their offense was centered around Derrick Henry in the I formation.
Yeah.
Okay?
Right.
If you look around the league, it's probably the only team with the I formation because why? They have Derrick Henry.
I'm just saying.
It's a passing league.
But Adrian Peterson doesn't have anything left. He had a great career.
We know that. We know that. But that's that's going to the grocery store, looking for toilet paper when COVID began. There ain't none there.
Yeah, I guess.
Right? So what Tennessee's got to do is they're going to have to change their offense and center it around Ryan Tannehill. And Julio Jones, has been hurt for 3-4 weeks. Well, he better get healthy real quick because he's going to be the focal.
Well, this is also going to be a true test for Ryan Tannehill, because like I said, they crucified him in Miami. We always knew he had talent, but, he had this Derrick Henry thing going, which made him a better quarterback. So he's going to have to step up, and let's see what he's got. If the Tennessee Titans are going to be a formidable team and, on the way to the Super Bowl. So we'll see.
Wide receiver turned quarterback Ryan Tannehill?
Yeah, but he's played well,
He
and
most certainly has.
They're all in on him. Right?
Yeah.
But
The point is, it's a devastating injury for Tennessee. Derrick
time.
Henry, I'm telling you.
and it's good for the league when you have a guy like Derrick Henry. People go, I'm going to watch the game because I want to see what this guy's
At
all about.
Alabama, I drooled over Derrick Henry. I wanted the Cowboys to pick him so bad you had no idea. No idea.
Yeah.
But he'll be back. He's got a foot injury, and hopefully he's
And
healthy next year.
we'll briefly glaze on the Aaron Rodgers situation in Green Bay, which is, like I told you, I love this guy for 12 years. In the past 2 years, he's pushed me away, and I don't get it. But he's trying to set the standard for, whatever you want to do, you could do in this league. What do you think of this situation? He's missing 1, maybe 2 games?
I did, well, I mean, he's going to have to because that's the NFL
protocol.
Yeah.
I got it.
But I will admit, I watched, he was on the Pat McAfee show.
I watched it too.
Listen, Aaron Rodgers is, I can bash him all I want.
He's smart and he's articulate.
He's very smart.
But he's he's turned into a very pompous guy.
He has. But I just have to say, I listened to him, and again, I try to be very objective on the show. He made some valid points. I'll leave it at that.
Okay.
I'll leave it at that. That's it.
There's just so much surrounding it. Though,
And the other thing is now we get a glimpse of Jordan Love. Okay,
good for him.
The number one, heir apparent.
And
I've never seen this kid play.
But I've said I wish him all the best. I hope he has a great game, and this is going to be his team in the future because Rodgers ain't going to be in Green Bay.
Yeah, okay. If he's so good, have a Mike White game. How about that?
We'll see. We'll see. But anyway, let's get on to our NFL picks of the week, right? Steve and I usually select a couple of games. I have Denver at Dallas. and I love the Cowboys in this game. I don't think Denver has anything left. And my second game is the Chargers on the road in Philadelphia. I just can't. I wouldn't put my last nickel on Philadelphia, so I'm going with the Chargers. Those are my two games. But there's one other game I really like, and I like the way they've been playing. I like this kid, Mac Jones. I'm thinking New England's going to take care of Carolina on the road. Steve?
As long as Christian McCaffrey ain't playing.
We'll see.
The Patriots, yeah. I like the
As long as Sam Darnold is playing, I feel pretty comfortable with that pick.
That's true. But like I said, I mean, Carolina is Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah.
They're a different team with him. He's that good.
But he's never on the field. So,
I'm gonna have a stretch here. The Bills are going to Jacksonville.
don't even think about it.
I'm thinking I'm leaning towards the Bills here.
Okay. Weisenheimer.
Vikings at Ravens. I'm taking the Ravens here at home. The Ravens will bounce back. Vikings are 3-4.
Yeah. Good one week, not good the next week.
Browns at Bengals. Listen, we shall see.
Yeah.
This is a game where this is a very good game. Browns Bengals.
Yep.
Bengals are 5-3 and the Browns are 4-4. This is a game the Browns have to win.
But I'm a little disappointed I didn't hear from our loyal fan Tony out in Oregon when I picked the 49ers over the Bears last week.
Well, actually, Tony and I exchanged a few text messages through Facebook.
Oh, okay.
And I said I didn't like the Niners' chances. Right?
Yeah.
You did.
I did.
You did. So I was wrong, Tony, and Jim was right.
Hope you're doing well, Tony.
That's like the eclipse of the moon happening.
Anyway, so the NFL, again, we're closing in on the midpoint of the season.
Midpoint.
A lot going on. The Cowboys are looking good. I got to give you credit there.
They are looking good.
So let's move to the collegiate level of football.
Sure.
Michigan State. What a great football game it was. Right?
It really was.
And if you listen to the show, you know who we were rooting for, even though we were loyal Michigan fans for years and years and years. But I just loved it. And, what a great game by this Kenneth Walker coming up. He'll finish third or fourth in the Heisman Trophy, something like that.
No, he'll finish number one and win the Heisman Trophy.
You think?
That was a Heisman winning performance right there.
Wow.
Guaranteed.
Okay.
Now,
Wow.
Michigan State today plays at Purdue.
They do.
And, I mean, this is...
Yeah, keep your eye out. Could be a sleeper.
It is, but that's my point.
But it's not going to be.
It's the typical trap game.
Yep.
It really is. And if Michigan... And the reason, too, not only did they beat Michigan, they're in the top four. Right?
This week, yeah.
Well, this is the first week
and that's
that
going to change,
This is the first week that it came out. They're in the top four.
I know.
So, hypothetically, if they lose today, bye-bye.
Right, and that means Ohio State moves back into the
Absolutely.
the top
I'm not
four,
going.
and
I am not going to be.
Cincinnati's got kind of shut out.
I'm not going to be surprised if Ohio State wiggles its way to number 4 at the end of the year. Cincinnati. I have to be again fair, objective here.
I would take them over Oregon, to be quite honest with you. At this point.
No, I think Oregon right now deserves to be there. Cincinnati, we love them, right? We've talked about Luke Fickell and the story of Cincinnati.
Desmond Ridder, quarterback.
It's just that strength of schedule is not going to get them to 4.
All
it's
right.
just not.
Okay.
And is it fair? No,
Yep.
it's not. But again, this is a subjective thing.
But the clear number 1 is Georgia, no question.
No
They've
question.
earned it.
No question.
But they have had a little controversy. One of their starting linebackers is,
Accused of rape, so he's out.
out.
But George is loaded, so all it means is
Yeah.
whoever they put in there, top 300 recruit,
right. But Michigan, Ohio State is still on the horizon. So
That's fine. We already know the outcome, so.
Yeah.
Ohio State.
Yep.
I don't care what the spread is.
Couple other quick things in college football, though, right? Scott Frost, we talked about it briefly the other day, but they're playing
Ohio
Ohio State, right?
Going to Lincoln.
Yeah. And
Chalk up another loss.
you would think, yeah. But
I don't know if Scott Frost keeps his job. And if he does, it's because he's Scott Frost. He's a legend at Nebraska.
I know, but at some point in time, you gotta
know. Listen,
the numbers just aren't there.
I don't know, but again, who are they going to replace him with?
I don't know.
Gary Patterson.
Bo Pelini.
No, listen, Gary.
Who got fired from Texas Tech?
21 years he was there.
I know.
Gary Patterson is a damn good football coach.
Yep.
And I tell you what, if he wants to coach.
Oh, he's going to land somewhere.
If he wants to coach. I mean,
does.
the guy's like 60-something years old. He likes country singing. I know a lot about him, that type of thing.
Doesn't he have an album out or something?
Yeah, I mean, but Gary Patterson is a damn good football coach.
Yeah.
So let's see. I hope he gets another job, but it's all contingent if he wants to continue coaching.
Yeah, but a couple other things with NCAA college football. Miles Brennan is transferring from LSU. That program is an absolute disaster right now. I mean, he was the heir apparent to Joe Burrow, and he's not getting on the field. And the Orgeron era is going to be over, obviously, which we know.
Thing is, LSU wouldn't trade this national championship unless it's taken away for whatever, stuff we don't even know about.
Yep, you're right.
But they're not going to trade that. They're going to be in the toilet for a little while.
Yep.
It's still LSU.
But here's another game.
We'll see how this shakes out.
Here's another game that I find interesting. It's something we've talked about. It's something we're very close to, right? Rutgers football. They're playing Wisconsin today. They're 4-4, and we've talked about this. If you want to be in the Big Ten, you got to win these games. So this is a critical game for Rutgers.
Yeah, they're not going to win today. This is an expectation level game. I've seen it time and time again.
But you agree that it's
Wisconsin has had a disappointing year, but they come in 5-3. Rutgers is 4-4.
Yep.
I'm telling you, folks, I'll be stunned if Wisconsin doesn't beat the crap out of them because they're bigger. They're going to push them around the field.
Well, but that's what we're saying about, can Rutgers meet this challenge of being in the Big Ten?
Let's see.
This is a big recruiting game for them,
Yes. This is the type of
being
game.
4-5 and 5-4 in the Big Ten is a big difference from
Rutgers is doing fine. Don't get me wrong; they're improving,
and we're all in on them.
We are, but this is a game where they have to win for validation.
That's my point.
I know.
That's my point.
And I'm telling you, I don't think they will because the offensive line of Wisconsin is 900 pounds each guy.
Standard Wisconsin
bigger, faster,
offensive
stronger
line.
type of thing.
Yeah.
I'll be stunned if Rutgers wins today. I took Wisconsin. I'm all in on Wisconsin.
But it is a big game for Rutgers.
It is.
Let's see what they do.
No question about it.
So let's move on to the National Hockey League. First of all, I wanted to say that our football segment was sponsored by Lynch Toyota of Manchester, Connecticut. Who, again, loyal supporter of the show, and we thank them week after week. I got to give you kudos, Steve. Your Alexander Ovechkin is lighting the lamp, week after week, and I still don't think Gretzky's record is achievable.
Oh, he's going to break it.
I don't know that he has that. I don't know that he has that much time left to do it.
He's going to break it.
I got to give you credit, though. You've been all in on this, and he's got 10 goals.
Actually, the great one a couple weeks ago said he hopes he breaks it.
Well, that's a class act from the.
And why do you think he said that? Because he knows he's going to break the record.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
So you just said he ain't. I'm saying he is.
No, I don't
Gretzky's
think
acknowledging subliminally right there.
I'm just saying. I just don't know if there's enough time. His body is taking a beating.
I know.
If he wants to just hang out in that.
But like I said a couple weeks ago. If he breaks the goal record, fine. That means Gretzky still has 498 other records.
I know. I'm not rooting against him. I'm just saying I think time is
I
against
am
him.
rooting against him. I don't want him to break the record, but I think he's going.
All right, but we'll see. But we were another point. Jack Eichel, who we thought was going to end up in New York, ends up in Vegas.
Yeah, and let me tell you something, folks. The owners of the Buffalo Sabres, the New York Rangers had the best offer, bar none out there. And the Pagulas, it's the husband-wife team who own the Bills too, right?
Yep.
The owners wouldn't trade him. They would not allow the trade to the Rangers because it's New York, right? So he gets traded to the Golden Knights, and
I saw an interview with him last night.
let me finish. If you can name the two names, I never heard of them.
Hebs or Hobbs.
It doesn't
or
matter.
something.
They got two guys, and they got a first-round pick, which is protected, and like a third round.
But he's not going to play this year. He's got some.
No.
He's got some medical issues.
Yes,
to
he's
take
out for
care
the
of,
year
yeah.
because he's got to do. He's got to have this surgery. But the point is, the Rangers, with the cupboard we have, I mean, that's why Buffalo is 15. They'll be 15 and 69, and and have the
12.
number one pick again.
Yeah. But
I find it incredulous that the owners of the team would not take the best value in return. That's why they stink.
But listen, if this guy does come back and
He's
his
going to
medical
come
issues,
back.
he's going to be a great player.
He's 25
in this
years
league.
old. He's
Yep.
coming back.
But I saw an interview with him, and he is a classy kid, and he handled himself with grace and dignity. For some reason,
He's a BU man.
I know that. I'm surprised that didn't come up in the beginning of our conversation. But listen, anyway, how about this Adam Fox contract, right, with the Rangers? They're doing all the right things, right?
They had to give him the contract now, right? Because he's the reigning Norris Trophy winner.
Which I'm surprised.
This kid is good. He's really good.
I know, but is he the best defenseman in the league? I don't know.
Listen,
I'm not dismissing him.
The Rangers had to give him the deal now because if they waited, it'd have been $3 more million.
No, but the Rangers
because
are doing the
deserves
right thing, though.
7-year deal. He'll be 31 when this is up.
Yeah.
Adam Fox.
No, he's good. Good.
He's really good. I watched a play of him, I don't know, midweek or something. He's special. His eye vision, his passing.
And listen, the NHL guys don't get these contracts that everybody else get, but this is a whopper.
And his peers acknowledge around the league.
He's good.
He's better than good.
Yep.
This is a haiku for the Rangers to have this kid.
But then on the other side of the fence, you have this Cole Caulfield from one of these young guns who was going to be the next Sidney Crosby kind of. Isn't cutting the mustard in the NHL.
He got called up last year in the playoffs and had a couple big goals for the Canadians. He's a young kid.
These kids are young.
He's struggling, and Montreal sent him down. Yeah. So hopefully it's a light of fire under his ass. He's talented.
Yep.
We shall see. I'm not burying him yet.
No, but in the start of the NHL season, you got the Florida Panthers and the Carolina Hurricanes. These guys, they haven't lost yet. I mean, it's awesome to see.
Well, they don't have Joel Quenneville behind the bench in Florida,
which we brought up.
We
last
did,
week.
but to be fair about Joel Quenneville, this guy's a damn good coach.
Okay, but he
I'm
didn't
talking.
do the right
I'm
thing.
talking X's and O's hockey.
Yep.
Period. That's
Gotcha.
all. We covered it last week.
Yep, we did. So let's move on to our random points of interest, Steve. And I wanted to bring this up because you mentioned it in the beginning of the show. It's perfect football weather in the Northeast. So New Jersey high school football playoffs just began this week, as I'm sure they have across the country. But great teams, and we're going to see how that pans out. Like I said, we brought up Bergen Catholic as probably the best team in New Jersey this year, and ranked number top 10 in max preps nationally. But it's high school football, and I wanted to give you an opportunity to give an update on your Ramapo Raiders.
The Ramapo Raiders. They played Chatham, New Jersey, which is a highfalutin town.
I thought Indian Hills was playing Chatham.
I'm going to get to Indian Hills
Okay.
in a little bit. But Ramapo's where my son goes, and he's hurt, so he's not playing this year. But Ramapo opened the playoffs against Chatham. It's not like it was when we played, where it was 4 teams, basically, because of the groupings and all this stuff. It's basically a 1 versus 8 thing.
Yep.
Ramapo just crushed them.
You expect them to move on.
Exactly. No, so they beat them, right? So Indian Hills. So Indian Hills is in Oakland, New Jersey, where I live. We grew up, and our family, blah blah blah. And our brothers went there, and we have a lot of ties there. So Indian Hills has been struggling, and Ramapo and Indian Hills are, brother sister schools, if you will. The great athletes go to Ramapo. Indian Hills has been struggling in football for 10 years, 15 years. Anyway, they had a playoff game. It's called the consolation game type of thing, right? And they win a thriller Thursday night, okay? To me, I think people know I coach in town, but there's one special player, kid Matt Albora, right? So I coached the B team. Was Matt one of the greatest football players? No, he's one of the greatest kids. And Matt loves kicking. Right, and I feel special about Matt because me and him got a bond going.
Good.
Where I got him going with it.
Yep.
So my point is, fast forward, Matt kicked the game-winning field goal on Thursday night at Indian Hills. Couldn't be prouder of this kid. I was told about it. I wasn't there, and I couldn't be more thrilled. For this kid.
But the point is, this is so awesome. High school football,
It's
local towns,
awesome.
go to a game.
It's great.
It's just great. And
It is.
just keeping an eye on it. Like I said, high school football is going on across the country. But some of these guys that we're going to be watching, these are the guys that are going to be future college football stars, NFL stars, and it's great to see.
Yeah.
There is one shout out I wanted to give to this young kid. He's only a sophomore, Luca Gemma at Ramsey High School.
Yeah.
He's just kind of come out of nowhere, and he's on both sides of the ball.
I've met this kid.
He's a nice kid, right?
And I coached against him at town football.
He's, I think, the godson of one of my former neighbors. What a great kid. What a great future.
Absolutely. I had the opportunity, my friend's house, I met him. I finally go, you're Luca Gemma, right? And I coached against him in a couple games, and he kicked the crap out of our guys.
Oh, that's great.
Special player. Ramsey High School's public, and I think they're undefeated.
They are undefeated.
And he's a big reason why.
And I wanted to give that shout out because my former neighbor Thalia, that's his godmother. I think.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Oh.
What a 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon here, right?
Yeah, so Luca's a special player.
Big time. But high school football is awesome across the country. We love it.
I love it. Can't get enough of it.
Yep. Last quick thing on random points of interest. This crazy story coming out of Phoenix with the owner of the Phoenix Suns, and it's got Donald Sterling written all over it.
First thing I thought of. It's not going to end well.
I mean, no, of course it's not. What took so long for this to come out?
It's not going to end well. Okay. What does that mean? It means he's going to have to sell the team. But does it not end well for him? He can give a crap. So what's he selling it for?
I know.
$1.5 billion?
I'm just saying, how this is hidden behind the curtain for 20 years is beyond me.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Anyway, so one last thing, and again, it's kind of the final race of the season. It's the Breeders' Cup weekend. And the horses we've been talking about for the past 3 months, we got Knicks Go and Essential Quality, and of course Bob Baffert's horse Medina Spirit, right?
Yeah.
Hot Rod Charlie, who we've been on his bandwagon for a while, but a great race. It's being held out in California this year.
Yeah.
I just wanted to go, and I'm going to say, here's my surprise pick. This horse, Art Collector, and I liked him a lot when he was in Saratoga, but then he ended up missing some of the races in the Triple Crown series. But for Corey Cole, who likes our little horse assessment, Essential Quality obviously will finish in the top 3. But I like Medina Spirit in this race too. But those are my 3 horses: Essential Quality, Medina Spirit, and Art Collector. I don't see Knicks Go finishing in the top 3 in this race. Okay. But it's an awesome Breeders' Cup, kind of concludes the horse racing season. And next time we'll be talking about that is the Kentucky Derby.
Yeah. And I just thought of Bob Newmeyer, who you brought up on our notable passings last week.
Absolutely.
That Bob will be missed on this broadcast.
Absolutely will be.
Yep.
So, Steve, we'll move on to our notable passings. And one we kind of overlooked last week was Mort Saul.
Mort Saul.
Right?
Yeah.
And we said, yeah, we knew Mort Saul, but, he was a satirist or a political humorist.
Yeah.
But great career, and,
Which is up our alley.
yeah, we've been known to make some satirical comments here and there.
Yeah, every now and then.
But hey, Mort Saul, 94 years old.
Absolutely, yeah. So we wanted to definitely acknowledge that.
And from the world of sports, Jerry Remy, one of the good guys in sports. And, happened after last week's show, but we wanted to make sure we
Second baseman, Boston Red Sox, 1978 playoff game. Number 2, Rick Burleson, shortstop. I remember Jerry Remy. Battled cancer for a long time. It came and gone, came and went. Red Sox broadcaster for gotta be 30 years.
20?
30.
All right.
Beloved,
69 years old, lost his battle with cancer.
Beloved in Boston. And Jerry Remy was like a Boston athlete that was,
But we
part
remember
of the
when
fabric.
he came up with the Angels and then ended
Absolutely
up in Boston.
came up with the Angels, and it was sad to hear about Jerry
How many
Remy.
lifetime home runs do you think Jerry Remy had?
17.
7.
7? Okay.
So he was known for his leather rather than his wood.
Oh, totally. No doubt.
But he was a class act and a great Boston figure. So
Absolutely.
shout out to him.
Yeah, Jerry Remy, R.I.P.
And I wanted to bring somebody else up from the world of entertainment. It's a name that a lot of people may not know unless you're into jazz music. Pat Martino, who was a longtime Philadelphia jazz guitarist, considered one of the all-time greats. And he had this crazy story with Pat Martino. He had a stroke in 1980.
Right.
Actually couldn't remember, came up with amnesia after this, that he had to relearn how to be a jazz guitarist.
Right.
Actually completely forgot his entire life. And he subsequently came back and tutored a lot of jazz guitar players. But Pat Martino from Philadelphia, that's a shout out because we think guys in music that are so influential are just as important as people in sports. R.I.P.
Yeah. R.I.P. Pat Martino. I know the name.
And here's one last thing I wanted to bring up. Michael Johnson, 33 years old. And you say, Michael Johnson, not the track guy, son of Ernie Johnson.
Yeah.
From TBS,
Yeah.
who we've watched. But there is a story behind the story that is just absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
I mean, he took this kid.
Ernie Johnson and his wife.
They adopted this
They're
young...
saints.
Absolute saints.
Yeah.
Regardless of what you think about his broadcasting or the NBA show
Big fan
that he's
of him.
on. But Michael Johnson was 33 years old but suffered this terrible condition. But this is a feel-good story in sports. And I got to tip my hat to Ernie Johnson and his wife. And R.I.P. to his son, who had a great life considering it could have been much worse if he hadn't, met up with Ernie Johnson.
I
But
agree.
What a shout out for sure.
Yeah,
right?
so it's a touching story. People should check that out.
And I saw some special on it a couple of years ago, and I go, wow, this is powerful. But he finally lost his battle with MS. But what a great story.
Absolutely.
Ernie Johnson, sorry for your loss, but
R.I.P. No doubt.
You go to the Hall of Fame in
absolutely.
the human being category.
doubt.
So anyway, so thanks for joining us, everybody. And again, we would love to hear from you. As Steve mentioned a couple weeks ago, we may be changing our platform to broaden our horizons, so stay tuned for that information. But please send us an email at sportswithmonoandmono@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you, and we'll keep you posted.
You got it. Have a great week, everybody.
Thanks
for
guys.
listening.
Enjoy all the sports out there, and stay safe.
Bye.
Bye.